Did Supergiant release Hades 2 too early? Definitely not. But it also technically hasn't even been released yet. It's complicated. It's a quiet evening and you finally got some time to game. You open Discord, greet the squad, complain about work or school, when suddenly Jake tells you something. There's a wild announcement. Hades 2 is officially happening. Your heart skips a beat. Your hand starts to sweat and you immediately begin bombarding your gaming buddies with incoherent messages that look something like, the hype is real. But as the initial excitement settles, another announcement sneaks up on you. Hades 2 will be available through Steam's early access model.
Death to Kronos.
This video isn't just about the thrilling anticipation of Hades 2, but also about the roller coaster ride that is Steam's early access model. We'll get into why Hades 2 has us all in a tizzy, what makes the early access model both a gift and a curse, mostly a curse, and how this dynamic duo could revolutionize gaming. If there's one thing gamers love more than playing games, it's reacting to game announcements. The hype train devours gamers and spits them right back out. The reveal of Hades 2 set the internet ablaze in a way that only few games can. Twitter, or X, Reddit, and every forum you can think of became battlegrounds of exclamations and meme-filled joy. The excitement is palpable. And it's not just because Hades was a phenomenal game. It's also about the emotional investment in the characters and the story. Fans have fallen in love with the Underworld's denizens. From the brooding Zagreus, the sarcastic Hypnos, and the mysterious Nyx that does stuff. The thought of diving back into that mythological world with new stories and possibly even more hilarious dialogues has fans counting down the days. While the first game set a high bar, the sequel promises to up the ante in every way possible. If Hades was a delectable feast, Hades 2 looks like it's going to be a full-blown banquet with extra servings of everything we loved. Imagine more intricate storylines, enhanced gameplay mechanics, and even more witty banter. The potential improvements and new features are enough to make any fan giddy with anticipation. We can only speculate on what changes might come, but one thing's for sure, the humor and charm that made the first game such a hit are bound to return. Maybe we'll get to see Zagreus deal with the trials of sibling rivalry with Melanoy, or perhaps a new underworld pet will cause mischief. Whatever it is, we know Supergiant Games will deliver it with style and a wink. The original Hades captured hearts with its addictive gameplay loop, beautiful art style, and deeply engaging narrative. But it's the characters and their relationships that truly stand out. Who can forget the first time they met Thanatos, the god of death, who somehow manages to be both intimidating and endearing? Or the countless attempts to escape the underworld, each one feeling fresh and exciting due to the dynamic storytelling. The voice acting, the music, and the sheer polish of the game made it a standout title. Every interaction with characters felt meaningful, and every run through the underworld had a sense of purpose. The prospect of more of this in Hades 2 has fans buzzing with excitement. It's like looking forward to a reunion with old friends who've undoubtedly got some new stories to tell. Steam's early access model is a bit like sneaking into the kitchen before dinner and stealing a taste of what's cooking. It gives players the chance to play games while they're still in development, offering a tantalizing glimpse of what's to come. But unlike sneaking a bit of grandma stew, early access is completely legal and, in fact, encouraged by developers. In this model, games are released in an unfinished state, allowing developers to gather feedback from players and make adjustments on the fly. It's a bit like a reality TV show where you get to vote on what happens next, except instead of getting rid of the most annoying contestant, you are helping to squash bugs and balance gameplay. The early access model has its fair share of pros and cons. On the positive side, it allows developers to engage with their community, gather valuable feedback, and fund further development. It's like a Kickstarter campaign with immediate gratification. You get to play the game now and watch it evolve over time. However, early access can also be a double-edged sword. Games might launch with a plethora of bugs, incomplete features, and balancing issues. Players have to be patient and understand that knowing they're essentially signing up to be beta testers. It's a bit like agreeing to date someone who's still figuring out their life. You might encounter some hiccups along the way, but the journey can be rewarding. Early access has seen its fair share of success stories. Take Subnautica, for example, which started as a humble underwater survival game and blossomed into a critically acclaimed title thanks to player feedback. Or Stardew Valley, which charmed its way into our hearts through consistent updates and community engagement. On the flip side, there are cautionary tales like DayZ, which languished in early access for what felt like an eternity, leaving players wondering if they'd ever see a full release. But for every misstep, there's a game like Hades that proved the model can work wonders. Yes, the first Hades also went through early access, and we all know how that turned out. Supergiant Games has a proven track record with early access, thanks to the success of Hades. They used player feedback to refine the game, adding new content and polishing existing features. This iterative process turned a great game into a phenomenal one, setting a high standard for what early access can achieve. With Hades 2, Supergiant Games plans to follow a similar path. By releasing the game in early access, they're inviting players to join them on this journey once again. It's like getting an invitation to the coolest party in the world, where you not only get to enjoy the festivities but also help decide the menu and the playlist. One of the most exciting aspects of early access is the involvement of the gaming community. Players become part of the development process, providing feedback and suggestions that can shape the game's future. This collaborative approach can lead to some hilarious and unexpected outcomes. Imagine a scenario where a player suggests a new weapon, let's say a mythical cheese grater. It's a ridiculous idea, but the developers decide to roll with it. Next thing you know, you're in the underworld, wielding a cheese grater of doom, shredding enemies with dairy-based fury. It's these quirky, community-driven ideas that can add a unique flavor to the game. Of course, the early access route isn't without its challenges. There's always the risk that the game might feel incomplete or that certain features might not work as intended. Players might encounter bugs that made Zagreus' hair turn neon pink or cause enemies to dance the Macarena instead of attacking. These potential pitfalls are all part of the charm. It's like going on an adventure with a slightly unpredictable friend. You never know exactly what's going to happen, but you're guaranteed to have a good time. Plus, the community's feedback will help iron out these kinks, ensuring the final release is as polished as it can be. In the world of game development, player feedback is pure gold. It's like having a crystal ball that tells you exactly what players love and what they'd rather see in the fiery pits of Tartarus. And let's be honest, gamers are never shy about sharing their opinions. The feedback for Hades was filled with gems ranging from heartfelt praise to constructive criticism to downright hilarious suggestions. One player might comment, "The dialogue is fantastic, but can we have a mode where Hypnos narrates my life?" Another might suggest, "More dad jokes from Hades please." It's this diverse array of feedback that helps developers fine-tune their games. From the developer's point of view, managing feedback can be a bit like trying to drink from a fire hose. There's a constant torrent of suggestions, bug reports, and praise flowing in from all directions. But amidst the chaos, there are nuggets of wisdom and moments of hilarity that make it all worthwhile. Imagine the team at Supergiant Games huddled around a monitor reading feedback from a player who suggests adding a pet Cerberus that follows Melanoy around and offers sassy commentary. They laugh, they consider the feasibility, and sometimes they actually implement these ideas. It's a collaborative process that's as unpredictable as it is rewarding. Balancing player expectations with development realities is no easy task. Developers have to weigh the feasibilities of requests, prioritize fixes, and ensure the game remains true to their vision. It's a bit like being a juggler in a circus, except the balls are on fire and the audience keeps throwing more into the mix. But this balancing act is part of what makes early access so engaging. Players get to see their suggestions come to life, and developers get to create a game that resonates deeply with their audience. It's a dance of creativity and practicality, with a few missteps along the way, but plenty of applause at the end. Looking ahead, it's clear that early access is here to stay. The model offers a unique way for developers to fund their products and engage with their community. And as more games find success through this route, it's likely we'll see even more innovative and ambitious projects in the future. For Hades 2, early access could mean an evolving storyline where players' choices and feedback shape the narrative in real time. Imagine a world where significant plot twists are influenced by community votes, or where new characters are introduced based on player suggestions. It's a brave new world of interactive storytelling. Let's take a moment to indulge in some wishful thinking. What if early access evolved to include virtual reality development meetings where players can join the dev team in a digital boardroom? Or perhaps a reality TV style show where players vote on which features get prioritized each week. The possibilities are endless, and while some ideas might be far-fetched, they highlight the potential for even greater player involvement in game development. The relationship between players and developers is evolving into something truly special. It's no longer a one-way street where developers create and players consume. Instead, it's a dynamic partnership where both sides contribute to the game's success. This collaborative approach not only results in better games, but also fosters a sense of community and shared ownership. With Hades 2, this relationship will be put to the test once again. Players will have the opportunity to shape the game's development, while developers will navigate the challenges and joys of integrating community feedback. It's a journey that promises plenty of surprises, a few bumps, and a whole lot of fun. In looking forward to the release of Hades 2, it's hard not to feel a sense of giddy anticipation. The original game set a high bar, but with the community's involvement and Supergiant Games' proven track record, the sequel promises to be even more spectacular, whether it's through hilarious feedback, unexpected features, or simply the joy of exploring a new underworld adventure. Hades 2 in early access is something we can all look forward to. The combination of Hades 2 and Steam's early access model is a match made in gaming heaven. Although the early access model is not without its challenges, the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks. The collaborative nature of this model fosters a strong sense of community and shared purpose, creating a dynamic and engaging gaming experience. So whether you're a seasoned gamer or new to the world of Hades, get ready to embark on an adventure. Early access is not just a way to play a game early, it's a chance to be part of something special, to contribute, and to experience the thrill of game development up close. Hey, thanks so much for checking out my video. There are other videos on my channel you can check out if you like this one, or you could also just like and subscribe, those cool things. And if you want to hear more from me, you could check out my podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'll see you there or in the next video or wherever. See ya!